What's going on, Authentic Collective and YouTube? It's your girl, August Crenshaw. Brief introduction why I'm sharing this video. For those of you that don't know me, I am a business and sales coach. I've been in the online space since 2015 with success since 2016. And I am one mad, crazy woman about making sure that individuals understand how to operate in their power, show up online and take it by storm and build profitable businesses. Why? Because that's where I started. I was a cosmetologist for 20 years, and then I realized that I could and I should do something different. I had no idea how much money I can make online. And when I figured it out, a lot of people came to me to ask me questions. And so then I started answering them for folks, and my tribe kind of came to me. So everybody's story is different. Some of you guys, you came out here, you were rock stars, you knew exactly what you were going to do, you knew exactly who you were going to serve, and you did the damn thing. But some of you, you know, you're really not playing full out. And I have found that unfortunately with my queens, a lot of it has to do with age. And so today I want to come out here and I want to give you a mindset nugget, especially if you're older, to make sure that you understand this whole never too late thing. But I don't like cliches, right? I don't like that, oh, it's just never too late. Because, you look at some people, you'd be like, yeah, it's too late. You know what I'm saying? And so when I say this, I really want to give, some concrete foundation to it. So I called this video 40 and finally figured it out, because it wasn't until I turned 40 that I began to figure out how much I really didn't know, how much more I needed to know, and then went on an aggressive adventure to get my hands on as much knowledge, wisdom, and understanding as I could so that I could transform my life. And so some of you, you're wrestling with some things because your life ain't necessarily really all that bad, but you keep hearing all these bud words and phrases about creating your own reality and love and light and destiny and attracting wealth and creating wealth and law of attraction and being in the vortex. And none of that stuff really means anything to you, but it intrigues your spirit. Something happens in your spirit that makes you say, like, what in the world are these people talking about? And how do you actually tap into that and you hone in on it? You start exploring. And then when you start exploring and you start thinking different, guess what? You start attracting those things to you. And you're like, wow, why am I seeing 1111 all the time? And why do I see 333 all the time? And oh my God, this kind of fell in my lap. And now I'm thinking about going to get certified to become a coach. And it just becomes a big old adventure. But I see so many people not step out on faith and not do what they're supposed to do because they're like, Dad, man, I'm almost 40 years old, or whatever age you are, and it feels like it's too late. And you know why it feels like it's too late? Because you didn't spend a whole lot of time of your better, more energetic years doing everything under the sun, other than what you should have been doing in order to move yourself forward. Notice I said your better energetic years, but let me tell you why being 40 years old is the best time to build your business, because it is your best spiritual, mental years. It's when your wisdom is at a climax. So I have my own theory. I came up with it, but when I tell it to you, you're going to be like, oh shit, that's me. So I look at the wisdom and how it evolves over a decade. So when you're between that 0 to 10, do we hear about little, 10-year-olds and they're YouTube sensations and they're millionaires? Sure they are, but we know who's navigating that for real. Mama, daddy, auntie, cousin, them, whoever they're working with. But the only thing they have on their mind is selfishness. I mean, when you were 10 years old, what do you want? Your first decade of your life, what you wanted was what you wanted when you wanted, even if it wasn't good for you. If you could have cereal, donuts, and Skittles for breakfast every single day, you would have. If you could be the one who always got the toy first, you would have taken it. Some of you weren't very good at sharing. Okay, so now we go to that next decade when you're between 11 going up into 20. You know what you are? You don't really understand shit, no way. You on this self-discovery, you're trying to figure out who you are, and you're doing things and you're thinking that you're grown and you're exploring. So you really aren't that good for anybody. Once you hit 21 to 30, you're usually very arrogant. in a good way, but usually bad tempered. Meaning that you've had a chance to look at everybody else like, I ain't gonna be like my auntie and them. I ain't getting married just to get divorced. And if I do get married, I ain't finna be with no low life Negro that's gonna cheat on me. Oh my God, they work that job, they can't stand it. I would never sacrifice and work a job where my boss treats me like that. You know, you look at people and you say everything, especially in them early 20s, about what ain't gonna happen in your life, what it ain't gonna look like, what you ain't gonna do, what you ain't gonna tolerate, and you get out there and you go on this journey realizing that you don't know as much as you thought that you did. And guess what? You live your life, and by the time you hit 30, you're usually in a very high reflective point. Life then probably slapped you around and beat you up. You didn't finally got evicted from somebody's shit. You didn't finally got fired from somebody's job. That Negro that you fell in love with and played the shit out of you, and whatever. And it's just things just aren't the way that you expected them to be, and life has beat you up a little bit. Now you have the opportunity to turn it around. When you hit those early 30s, that's when you kind of like, okay, I'm going to maybe slow down a little bit and get out of this arrogant place and realize that things didn't go the way that I wanted them to go. And maybe I should kind of try to take my time and not be as arrogant and build. But you're in that season of gathering and gaining knowledge. By the time you hit 40, you have gathered and gained so much knowledge that you realize that you never knew anything, and you come into this state of being happy to say that I don't know. You come into this state of being happy and being at peace with saying, you know what, I have room to grow. And that is what makes you an awesome leader. Now that you're older, you have more sensitivities. You've been through some things, so you don't judge people as readily. You can now facilitate healing in people without being too pushy or too aggressive. You don't take the wrong things too personal. So while you might not be as physically energetic, and you probably got a husband and kids and situations that pull away from you energetically right here and right here, you have something to give to people that if you really look at who you were at 20 years old, you couldn't have given it to them. I have always been passionate. I have always been one to give advice. I have always been one that people have looked to for inspiration. Even when I was younger on the bus stop, people would just come and tell me all of their business, but there were pieces of me that were a little off. And so I had some really, rough patches, and some relationships ended not so well. And it wasn't always because everybody else was full of shit. I was so busy being rough and being protective of myself. Some relationships where I could have had more conversations and preserved them, I destroyed them because I pushed people away, and so on and so forth. And so being out here in the business world, I'm telling you, the woman that you've become, just you, period, your whole persona is the perfect woman to incite change in somebody else. So if you're 40 and you finally figured it out, it's not too late. I was a cosmetologist for over 20 years. I started in 1992 when I was in high school braiding hair, and I did it until I left St. Louis in 2014. And I need you guys to understand that when I hit Houston in 2014, so what are we talking, 6 years ago? I'm 44. That first year, I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. I thought I was going to relaunch my jewelry business. And I was like, ew, gross. No, I love making jewelry, but I don't have the passion, because I understood what it took to build a business. I was like, I don't have the passion to be able to do that. And so as I looked and I thought and I did soul searching, y'all, I did a courier. I worked for a courier, running all up my car, all up and down Texas, delivering stuff. Notice I didn't say Houston because I was in San Antonio. I drove to Louisiana. I drove to Dallas, Austin, as well as Tomball, Kingwood, Galveston, you name it. For those of you that are familiar with Texas, while I'm sitting here talking like a freaking map. But after working for somebody else and driving for Uber and like, what in the world I'm supposed to do, then finally all of this wisdom and this time of feeding into other people came back to me. And then I realized that I should become a coach. And so I know that sometimes when we think about starting something, if you think about it based on what you did in your life, how long it took you to get to a place to get a house, how long it took you to get a man, how long it took you to get a degree, how long it took you to get a promotion, then maybe this whole journey may seem a little to you. But I need you all to know that in August of 2015, when I launched my business, I really didn't know what I was doing. And I started off more so in the background writing books with little promotion, didn't know what I was doing on social media. When I got an ideal of what I should be doing in 2016, I spent a lot of money with a lot of coaches that were just rip off and scam artists. But by the end of 2016, finally having to push through my own because I was financially exhausted, I was able to get clients and I was able to get a decent income coming in and then able to finally hire a good coach, a great coach. And then the rest is history. My business took off in a massive way. Going the end of the second quarter into the beginning of the third quarter of 2017. And then since then, I have been able to work for me, okay, and help other women build businesses where they can work for them. And so it doesn't take that long. We exhausted a lot of our money. We exhausted all of our resources. I'm so excited for the things my husband and I are doing to take our finances and push them all the way back beyond where they were when we had those secure things, like when he had a pension working at the job that he was at. Yeah, he actually had a job that still had a pension, not a 401k. They were lobbying for it to become a 401k, but that's another story. And so the possibilities are limitless. I just don't know what you're telling yourself in your head. You need to tell yourself something different. I just told you something different. Okay. So believe differently and you'll experience different results. Okay. This is your girl, August Crenshaw. I love you all. I'm about to get out of here. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, you keep on hearing me say what's up to the Authentic Collective. If you notice, I got these really cute earrings. As a matter of fact, if you look at them, I don't even know if y'all can see them. Y'all might not be able to see them that good. But they Sherry Shine, for those of you that are in the Authentic Collective, she made these for me. www.aclive.co. Sign up. It's free to come inside. There's some paid goodies, but you can be in the atmosphere and learn and grow together and connect and network with some other amazing people. In the meantime, between time, I'm outie. Deuces.